Back me up here, Mommy. You're telling me that Daddy could die if his happy place gets happy? If his General Johnson comes to attention? If his...
Would you please stop that? And yes, okay, but due to the massive trauma to his genitals, Julian could die if he has an erection, but I have taken care of that because the medication I prescribed will prevent him from experiencing any sexual urges. So an erection is out of the question, and he'll be just fine.
I don't think fine is the right word. His penis still isn't properly attached.
Take it off. Take it all off.
Oh, I almost don't have anything left. You don't want me to be absolutely naked in here, do you, Jules? I might catch cold.
Then I'll just warm you up.
Oh, really? Am I turning you on?
Oh, yes, indeed. I've never felt these urges in quite this way before, but something is happening.
Yes. Go ahead, you disgusting old man. Get turned on. Without these pills, your weenie is going to be the death of you.
Ow!
He's dying already?
What's wrong? Are you all right?
Oh. Yes, I'm more than all right. Little Julian seems to be waking up, but he's pointing in rather strange direction.
Oh, that's gonna hurt. Turn on your side. Good.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Do you honestly mean it?
Yes, I mean it. I don't say things that I don't mean. You and this baby are the most important things in the world to me.
I rest my case. What was that you were saying about being the most important person in the world to Louise?
Oh, stop it.
Well, looks like you've been replaced.
Look, this isn't funny, okay? Seriously.
Right, it's not.
Ethan, I'm blue. I'm completely blue. Little Ethan did this to me.
You know, Gwen, actually, that's a very becoming color on you.
Look, you just stop it, okay?
What you call that, Cobalt?
You just be quiet. Look, that kid's gonna pay for this, oh boy.
Look, listen. It's probably going to come off somehow.
Yes, and if it doesn't, you can... you can always start like a new fashion trend.
Laura, listen. I'm sure there's an explanation, and I know you're upset.
Upset? Ethan, I am more than upset. I'm completely beside myself. My skin is blue. Little Ethan put dye in my bathwater.
Oh, you don't know that.
I know that, and that kid's gonna pay.
Nice job, sweetheart. But you might have gone too far.
Louise wouldn't do this to me. You can't.
You just heard it with your own 2 ears. Louise has a new, most important person in his life. And it's not you. Pretty has been bumped to the head of the line with their baby.
Oh, please. Gosh, that's all I needed to know. I was so afraid to go through this pregnancy alone.
Well, you'll never be alone.
Say it again. I need to hear you say it.
Hey, many times as you like. You and this baby are the two most important people in the world to me.
Look at me. I mean, I'm a Smurf.
Look on the bright side, Gwen. It's such a pretty color.
You be quiet. Little Ethan did this to me. I mean, that was a mean kid.
Hold on. Hey, wait. We don't know he's responsible.
Of course I know he's responsible. Who else would do something so cruel to me?
Anyone who's met you.
I mean, if this isn't proof that little Ethan needs to go to boarding school, then I don't know what is.
Oh, Gwen, stop.
No, I mean it. That little Brad, he's going. He's going to boarding school tonight.
Breathe in, breathe out. You keep me alive. You are my passion for life.
Gwen, look, I've already decided that little Ethan is staying right here.
Oh, after this? Oh, no, you can forget that. You know what? Now I'm thinking that boarding school is too good for him. I think he should go to a military school. That'll teach him some manners.
Don't even think about it.
Don't be rash, all right?
Rash! Look at me. The kid dyed me blue. What do you want me to do? Thank him?
We don't know it was him.
Oh, of course it was him, Ethan. I was in the bathtub, and I actually think I saw him sneaking out.
Wait, you think or you know?
Look, if he went overboard with this little prank, okay, that's one thing. But we're not going to send him away to boarding school because of it. That's a little drastic, don't you think?
Ethan, what is it going to take to get through to you? You heard what the child psychologist said.
Well, I didn't hear him. So little Ethan is staying here.
Look, we're all tiptoeing around little Ethan because of his grief over losing his mother. And now, guess what? Now he's taking advantage of us.
It's a little extreme, Gwen.
A little extreme. That kid needs structure. He needs structure. He needs limits. And the child psychologist said that sending him away is the best thing for him.
Well, I'm not sure I agree with that.
Ethan, isn't this proof that the psychologist was right? Look at what he did to me. This criminal. What do you think he's going to do next, huh? He's going to, sell drugs, rob banks?
Oh, don't be ridiculous.
Gwen, if he did this little prank, we'll deal with it. He'll be punished, but we're not going to send him away because of it.
Oh!
Good. Don't let that blue meanie send our son away.
Look who's here. Come on in, Fancy. Luis and I were just talking about our baby. Our baby? Oh my God, I love saying that. He was just telling me how much our baby means to him.
Yes, I know.
Oh, you were eavesdropping.
Pretty. Sweetheart, how are you doing?
Oh, much better now that I've spoken to Luis. He's convinced me and told me how much our baby means to him and how much I mean to him as well. God, I'm so relieved. You know, I can't believe I was going to terminate my pregnancy. My imaginary pregnancy.
Well, thank God that you did.
Yeah. God, I feel so bad for those poor girls who have to face being a parent alone. It's such a scary time that decision actually makes sense, you know, but not for me. Because I have this great man that I know that I can lean on and will support me, and our baby is going to have 2 loving parents. Forgive me, Luis. I'm not used to being, you know, cared about or have somebody worry about me. I've never felt so loved. You do love me, don't you?
Yes, you and the baby are very important to me.
The most important things to you?
Yes?
Excuse me.
We'll be right back.
What are you doing?
Bravo. I am applauding a most masterful performance. I gotta hand it to you, Pretty. You are good.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Aunt Sheridan.
Oh, come on. There's no reason to keep it from me. Yeah, I gotta admit, I did have my suspicions before, but after what I just saw, I gotta hand it to you. Congratulations. You are a true Crane. Down to the bone.
What is wrong with you? Why do you keep refusing to see that little Ethan needs to be sent to boarding school?
What he needs is love. A real mother.
Look, I am going to go talk to him and get to the bottom of this, okay?
Oh, yeah, right. Like he's really going to tell you the truth?
Why wouldn't he? He's a great kid.
A great kid wouldn't attack me like this.
Gwen, show a little compassion, okay? The boy just lost his mother. He's going through a tough time.
Don't make excuses for him.
I'm not making excuses for him. I'm just saying, if he did it, he'll tell me. He won't lie to me about it.
Oh, right. Let's not forget who his mother was, the world champion liar of all time.
Dare you speak about my daughter that way?
Flair's right. You're going over the line now. I'm going to talk to little Ethan. In the meantime, you try to control your temper, okay?
Or what? That little brat is so out of here.
Yeah, over my dead body, Gwen. Don't tempt me.
Oh, my!
Well, you must be freezing, so I'm gonna go get you a robe.
Oh, Pilar, what's so damn funny?
Well, if you don't know, then I'm not going to bother to try to explain it to you. Well, at least my key still works in the door. Well, you should certainly be proud of yourself, because you're the reason that I lost my hospital privileges in the first place.
Stay on point, Mommy. They asked you back to sew on Daddy's willy, didn't they?
Penis. The word is penis.
Yeah, explain this to me, Mommy, because I'm interested. Now, why would an erection endanger Daddy's life?
You know, I really don't want to talk about this anymore. Now, I've done everything I can do to keep Julian healthy so that we could take him back into surgery and reattach his penis the right way. And until then, he has to stay on medication that will suppress his sexual urges so that he won't have an erection.
Well, what does Daddy have to say about all this?
Well, he doesn't know about it.
He doesn't know about it? Why not?
Well, I don't want to upset him any more than he's already upset.
See, you doctors are all the same. You know, first you lie to your patients, and then you lie some more.
I am thinking of Julian's health. Now, he's already enraged that his penis is so much smaller than it was and on upside down. If he finds out that he could kill himself by simply becoming aroused, that would just put him right over the edge. He could have a heart attack.
But what if Daddy gets turned on anyway?
Well, that's not going to happen because the medication will prevent it. And besides, he's in a hospital room. What could possibly turn him on in there?
Die, Julian. Now.
I guess that didn't work.
Anyway, sick again. Everything you're doing is working for me, dear.
Oh, really? Little Julian?
Oh, yes. He's waking up. He's stretching. He's getting ready to greet the day.
Yes!
Oh, Esme, the things you do to me.
Oh, I'm barely getting started. You like this? Where is it? Oh, wow, that could really disconcert a girl.
But not you, dear.
But not me.
That's what you get for messing with Aunt Esme. Say toodaloo, Julian.
Oh, I bet this makes all the medical journals. Can you imagine? Daddy can die if he gets an erection.
Oh, stop.
Oh, no. What a way to go. I mean, the first step towards new life will mean his death. Oh, talk about irony. Oh, can you imagine what they'll put on his certificate as a cause of death?
Oh, enough already.
Terminal lust? No. Death by horn dog?
This is nothing to joke about, Vincent.
Oh, of course it is. This was made for jokes. You know, wait till Letterman gets wind of the story.
This is your own father you're talking about. You're so sick.
Oh, you just figured that out? I'm your pregnant son carrying my daddy's baby. That doesn't do much to encourage a normal psyche.
And people ask me why I started to drink again.
Oh, chill, Mommy. Look, you have to see the humor in all of this. Julian Crane has been chasing women his entire life. Sex is what drives him. It's poetic justice that the very thing he lives for is what kills him. An erection. Oh, and who says God doesn't have a sense of humor?
Oh, that must be good. I barely even touched you, and already you're in heaven.
I doubt he's going to heaven.
Oh, yes, Julian. Tell me you like it.
It hurts.
Oh, it hurts so good, doesn't it, baby?
Stop it, no.
Oh, your lips say no. But little Julian says yes.
You're killing me.
I know. It's what I do best.
You're really killing me. Ah!
Julian? I'm sorry. Are you all right? Oh, God. Oh, help. Help. Julian needs a doctor. Code Blue. Code Blue. Code Blue. Hello? Calling Dr. Ruth. Calling Dr. Ruth. Hello? Help.
Yes, Julian. Die. Die.
Fancy, what you just overheard, it
Oh,
has
save
nothing.
it, Luis. I heard everything I needed to hear. The man I love, the man I have forgiven over and over, just told my sister she's the most important person in his life.
You don't
What more is there to hear? No, I'm not
understand.
stupid, Luis. It's obvious. Pretty is more important to you than I am.
Oh, please, you know that that's not true.
And why should I know that? I just heard you. You told Pretty she's number one. Oh, and then there's the baby. So where does that leave me? Bringing up the rear?
Fancy! She was about to terminate the baby. An abortion? Because she thinks that I don't care about this child, which isn't true. I do care. So I had to say something to stop her.
Not that.
Fancy, it is our child. My own flesh and blood. So I needed to tell her something so she would keep the baby.
You didn't have to tell her she was the most important person in your life, Luis.
Oh.
That's what you just told me. And you told me Pretty and the baby would never come between us.
They won't.
You don't get it, do you? Pretty is coming between us already. That's what her plan has been all along. She is using this baby and the threat of having an abortion to break us up.
Look, I know we decided to work together to break up Luis and Fancy, but please don't think I would ever use a child.
Oh, come off it. I know exactly what you're up to. You're using your pregnancy to drive a wedge between Luis and Fancy. You had no intention of ever having an abortion. It was just a trick to scare Luis, to reel him in.
I'll admit to nothing. Though I must say, I was pleased to see that Luis is finally realizing how much our baby and I mean to him. It's all about love, Aunt Sheridan. Luis finally is realizing how much he loves me.
No. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't forget, I'm still in the picture, remember? And Luis is out in the corridor talking to Fancy. You may have forced him to say whatever you wanted him to say to stop you from having an abortion. But he still isn't ready to give up Fancy to be with you. Although I will admit, Fancy was pretty upset when she heard Luis say that you were the most important person in the world to him. So even though Luis may not be ready to give up Fancy, it could be the final straw for her. So, you need to keep feeding her doubts while finding ways to pull him in.
Don't worry, Aunt Sheridan. I am way ahead of you.
Oh, I'm sure you're enjoying this.
Yes, now that you mention it, I am. You look ridiculous. But it's nowhere near the punishment that you deserve. It's a pity, that someone didn't pour sulfuric acid in your path. Forgive me, Lord.
Oh.
I will go to confession for that.
My God, you are sick.
Really? After everything you and your mother have done? You deserve the worst punishments of hell. My Teresa is dead because of you.
Oh, Pilar, enough with these guilt trips. I'm so sick of it.
You know, Gwen, screaming like a banshee, like you did a moment ago, was not a good move. Ever since Teresa died, you've been playing the role of the caring wife and mother very well. You've even fooled Ethan. But eventually, you'll see your true colors. I don't think it's blue, though, actually. Green is more like it. You're still so envious of Teresa and the love that Ethan has for her.
Go away.
I wouldn't be surprised if you did this to yourself.
Pilar, have you lost your mind? Why would I do this to myself?
Why? Because you are a scheming, vicious bitch. And you will do whatever it takes to get what you want. And what you want right now is to get rid of my grandson. Because little Ethan reminds Ethan of Teresa. You will do whatever it takes to make my grandson look bad so that Ethan will think he's a problem child. Just so that he'll send them away.
Yeah, you're losing it, Pilar.
No, I'm not. Don't lie to me, Gwen. I know how black that heart of yours is. I know exactly what you're trying to do.
Well, Ethan, where did he go?
Oh, Mr. Winthrop, have you found little Ethan?
No, he was not in his room.
Do you really think that he's the one who dyed Miss Hotchkiss blue?
I don't know.
Well, if he did, it was just a prank that went a little too far.
I know. He's a great kid. I mean, he's never had a problem before. But given everything he's gone through, finding out that Gwen wants to send him to boarding school and losing his mother, I don't know what's going on in his head right now.
Well, he is very lucky to have you as his father.
Well, I hope he feels the same way.
Oh, he does. He does.
Oh, really? Did you talk to him?
Oh, he says that he loves you so very much.
I love him too. I mean, biologically, he's Julian Crane's son, but I've always felt so close to him. Ever since I delivered him.
What?
I did.
Oh,
I know, it's a funny story, but I've always felt a bond with him as if he really were my son.
Well, that is just marvelous.
Gosh, here I go again. I'm talking to you, and I shouldn't be saying these things to you. You're the nanny. It's a very awkward position to be in.
Oh, no, don't you worry about a thing. No, I'm so happy that you're so comfortable with me. Yeah.
I am. It's funny, I hardly know you at all, and I am.
I can't stand this. I have to tell him.
Well, anyway, I better go find little Ethan before Gwen has a chance to talk to him. It's a tragedy because I know Teresa, if she were here, she would know exactly what to say to him. You've never met a better mother in your life.
I am here. I wish I could tell you. I wish I could tell you the truth about her son.
You really have no shame. I mean, it's bad enough that you caused Teresa's death, but now you want to erase every trace of her from Ethan's life? It won't work.
I beg to differ.
You've gone through this entire house. I've seen it. And you've removed all of Teresa's pictures and her clothing and her jewelry. Anything that could remind Ethan of the woman that he loves.
Ah, loved.
No, loves. He told you that. To your face. And now you want to get rid of her child.
I'm not trying to send Jane to boarding school.
You really are stupid, Gwen. Do you think that you can pack up little Ethan and just send him off to school and all of a sudden Ethan's going to stop thinking about Teresa? You couldn't be more wrong. You can get rid of everything. But it's not going to change anything, Gwen. Teresa lives on in Ethan's heart. And she always will. She's the woman that Ethan loves. And nothing you do will ever change that.
I understand why you are so upset right now, and I am sorry if I have offended you, but come on. Pretty is pregnant, she is single, and she is scared. And she just needs some reassurance that she's not going to be stuck alone. So that's all I was doing, was letting her know that I will be there for her in the long haul. And she needs to know how much I care about this baby.
It is so much more than that.
All right, whatever personal problems each one of us has, let's not forget there is a baby involved. And he or she comes first. Okay? Pretty is in a fragile state. So if I need to tell her that she's the most important person in the world, so what? I don't need her freaking out and starting to talk about how she's going to terminate this baby again. And once she is secure, things will go back to normal. Okay?
You really don't get it, do you? This is just the beginning, Louise. She won't stop. Pretty will keep coming up with one thing after another until she finally tears us apart.
So far, I am very impressed with your efforts. At this rate, you may actually break up Luis and Fancy. Remind me to never underestimate you again.
Everyone does. It usually works to my advantage. Word to the wise, don't discount me or my power over Luis. And over you.
Okay. Well, since we're handing out advice here, here's a little tip from me to you. Stay on my good side. And keep your veiled threats to yourself.
Or what?
Or I'll go to Luis, horrified and shocked, and tell him I just found out that you never intended to have an abortion. That you were just using all this to break up his relationship with Fancy.
You don't have any proof of that, now do you? Besides, breaking up Luis and Fancy works to both of our advantages.
That's why I won't tell Luis. So go ahead and play your silly little game, but be careful.
Don't worry, I will. See, that's what's great about playing secret games. You have to make the rules up for yourself as you go along. I know exactly what I'm doing, and you don't.
Don't bet on it, Pretty. Two can play at this game, and in the end, I will win. After you've destroyed Luis and Fancy, I'll move in and capture the prize. Luis.
You know what's ironic? That the harder you try to erase Teresa's memory, the stronger it becomes. I mean, because of you, Ethan brings Teresa up in virtually every conversation. You are your own worst enemy.
This conversation is over.
It's over when I say it is. You are pitiful. Bright blue and pitiful. Ethan has never loved Teresa more, and there's nothing you can do about it.
See, that's where you're wrong. Because I've already replaced Teresa in Ethan's heart. He's with me, Pilar, and he loves me, so...
Really? Mm-hmm. You don't believe that any more than I do. You know why? Because if you did, you wouldn't act so desperate. You wouldn't feel threatened by any little memory of Teresa.
So you're boring me, and I'm going to go up to change.
And you know what? You should try a bright color, and maybe it'll help with that new complexion that you have now.
Go ahead. Make fun of me. Go ahead. But when I'm done changing, I'm going to pack up the Ethan, and I will get my way, Pilar. And actually, I'm going to send that kid to a boarding school so far away that you will never see him again.
Teresa, Nina. If only you were here to stop this.
Oh, help! Help! Oh, help! Help! Somebody save little Julian! Make him live! Oh, help! What about you gotta help my sugar daddy. I mean, my sweet angel.
Where are your clothes?
Oh, yeah, don't worry about that now. Look, I just came in here to cheer him up. Really up, if you know what I mean. And then he started screaming.
I think he's in pain, Doctor.
Yeah, I got that. At first I thought he was enjoying himself, but then I realized that something was wrong.
Enjoying himself? I mean, he was like...
Yeah, it was great. Little Julian was standing tall and proud, and then he had a relapse.
But that's impossible. I gave Julian medication to prevent that.
Are you sure you wrote the right prescription? You have been having problems lately.
Yes, of course I'm sure.
What's wrong with him?
Julian can't have an erection.
Oh, now that isn't true. If it was, I never would have given him the time of day.
No, I mean now, after his surgery, it could kill him.
Julian, just you, don't look at me. Ignore my overwhelming sex appeal. Think of, elderly nuns, dead kittens, sweaty lumberjacks. Ooh, sweaty lumberjacks. I can imagine 3 or 4 of them in a hot sauna with me wiping off the grime from a hard day's work.
You're not helping.
I'm sorry.
Please, I don't want to die.
Oh, God, what is that?
Medication to prevent an erection.
But he's already has one. I mean, it's pointing the wrong way, but it's there.
Well, I'm hoping this will stop it.
What if it does and I don't want to die?
She'd better not save him. Not if she knows what's good
Okay,
for him.
Julian. I'm gonna give you an injection, and I'm warning you, it's really gonna hurt.
Oh, go ahead.
No, your arm is not gonna cut it this time, Julian. It's an emergency.
Oh, what?
find little Ethan?
No, I've looked everywhere.
Did you try the stables?
No luck. I don't know where else to look.
Oh. Well, where did Miss Hotchkiss go?
She went upstairs to change.
Has she calmed down at all?
No.
I hope little Ethan wasn't responsible for turning her blue, because she's more determined than ever to send him to boarding school.
Well, you're still against it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you still think it's a bad idea.
Yes.
Good, then it's
Yes.
settled.
Well, that child
No, who
psychologist,
cares
though,
what he thinks, Ethan, really? Never even met little Ethan.
I know, you're right. It's not a good idea. But if little Ethan turned Gwen's skin blue, we're going to have a hard time convincing her of it. I just hope little Ethan didn't have anything to do with this. Please, God, let there be another explanation.
Okay. Okay, I need to find something that proves that Brad is responsible.
Oh my God. I look like that girl from Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. This is so bad. Hope this comes off.
Oh, what? Chemistry set.
Blue fingerprints.
Oh, little Ethan, you think you're so funny. Little smarty pants, you think you're so funny. Well, honey, let's see how much you're laughing when you're on your way to boarding school.
I know it hurt, Julian, but it was absolutely necessary.
Is it working?
Well, I can't tell. He won't sit still. Oh, God, it has to work.
Oh, no, little Julian's still standing straight and proud for a puny little thing, but it's still up.
No, it can't. It'll kill him.
Something's happening. Look! Timber! Timber. Where'd I get that? Oh, I must still be thinking of those lumberjacks.
Okay, it's working.
Oh, that's wonderful. I never thought I would think that about, that, but usually that's when things start getting dull,
I think he's going to be all right.
What have you done to me?
Tell him, Mommy. Or should I?
Get out of here.
You miss all the fun?
Now.
What is going on?
I'm just having the nurse do some things for me, and she's just leaving.
It's so hard to find good help.
Tell me about it.
I swear you will spend the rest of your life in jail if you don't tell me what's going on right now.
All right, Julian. There was a side effect to your surgery, and until we reattach your penis the right way, an erection, it could put your life at risk.
Well, why didn't anyone tell me?
Because I didn't want to alarm you.
Alarm me? I almost lost my life.
And I don't understand it, because I gave you medication that would keep you from being aroused, but for some reason it didn't work.
Oh, I understand, Eve. Oh, God, I'm so sorry, my love. When they were, thinking of that medication, they weren't considering me. When I go into, my uncle's old age home, they won't let me on the men's floor because all the pacemakers blow. So
Julian, I gave you a larger dosage of the medication just now.
Yes, I know, and I'll never forget it.
And it should work. But you cannot allow yourself to become aroused.
It's easy for you to say.
Julian, I mean it now. You can't let yourself become sexually excited for any reason whatsoever, or you can end up dead.
Next time, Julian. There's always next time.
You don't know Pretty the way I do. Even before the accident, she never knew how to stop. And then once her face was disfigured, well, it was as if she decided
normal rules of behavior didn't apply to her anymore.
You're awfully hard on her.
Because I know her, Luis. But ever since Grandfather locked you two in that basement, she's decided you belong to her. And she'll keep dreaming up one thing after another until she's finally torn us apart.
Well, that's not going to happen, so you don't need to worry about that.
Then just listen to me, okay? Please don't underestimate her. She's not as vulnerable as you think.
Okay. Look, I don't want to talk about Pretty anymore, okay? I love you. Now, believe me when I say to you that you are the most important person in the world to me.
Well, that would be a lot easier to believe if I hadn't heard you say exactly the same thing to Pretty just now.
Believe it. I love you. And nothing is ever going to come between us, okay? Not Pretty. I don't love her. I just had to say what I said to her to protect my baby. Okay? I love you. Don't worry. Nothing is ever going to come between us.
I hope you're right.
I'm right. Trust me, not Pretty or the baby or anything. I love you, Fancy Crane.
That's what you think. It's time to turn up the heat a little more.
Look, I want you to know I don't disagree with boarding school.
Ethan, you promised that you
listen,
weren't going to...
I think it's great, but I don't think it's right for little Ethan right now at his age. I don't agree with the psychologist, okay? I'm not sending him away. He just lost his mother.
Yeah, he needs to be with the people that love him. He needs a real mother.
You're preaching to the choir. I know that. We just have to convince Gwen of that, and I don't think that's going to be easy.
Well, have you noticed that her argument has changed? I mean, first she said that little Ethan needed to go away because of what the psychologist said. And now she's saying that it's because little Ethan is incorrigible. We both know he's a good boy. I think she wants him gone, no matter what.
Well, Pilar, whatever problems you've had with Gwen, you have to admit she's always been a good mother. She wants what's best for little Ethan. Unfortunately, she thinks boarding school is what's best for him. I just hope that she can't prove that it was little Ethan that turned her skin blue.
Well, no one thinks that little Ethan is responsible.
I recall having a lot of fun with a chemistry set when I was bored.
Even if he did do this little trick, it just went a little too far. I mean, come on, you and I both know he doesn't have a malicious bone in his body.
I don't know what happened.
I do. Look at this.
Oh, that's little Ethan's chemistry set.
Yes, indeed it is. You want to know where I found it? I found it under his bed, and look at what else I see. These tiny little fingerprints. And they're blue. Do you guys recognize what shade this is? I know that little Ethan deliberately turned me blue. The proof is right here. So, little Ethan is going to boarding school tonight.
You can be limp and live, or you can have one last direction and die.
You can't send little Ethan away. You are not his mother.
I want this baby. I love this baby.